Fine, I'll do it myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fine, I'll Do It Myself. Hi, Jason.
Hi.
We're here doing Iron Man today. Thank you guys for waiting patiently for the next episode of this. We watched Iron Man the other night, and we are very excited to talk about it. Here's the trailer.
No one's allowed to talk, is that it? You can't talk?
No, you intimidate them.
Good God, you're a woman.
Is it better to be feared or respected? And I say, is it too much to ask for both? I humbly present the Jericho. To peace.
Tony Stark, now you work for me.
What are your building stock?
Your eyes are red. A few tears for your long-lost boss?
Tears of joy. I hate job hunting.
Yeah, vacation's over.
Welcome home, sir.
Put up the scanner, will you? What happened over there? I had my eyes open. I want to protect the people I put in harm's way.
A man with a dozen of these can rule all of Asia.
Yeah, I can fly.
Let's see if this dog can hunt.
So the upgrade is complete.
Tell you what, throw a little hot rod red in there. Hey, good luck keeping up.
What's going on here?
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing. There's been speculation that I'm parading around as a superhero. I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
Wow, what a trailer, Jason.
Why do you sound so fucking disinterested right now, dude?
No, just the trailer.
Wow, here's the trailer.
Because
Wow,
we
dude,
didn't
that trailer.
actually watch the trailer right
that
now.
trailer
I'm
was
just
hype,
including
dude.
it in the.
Holy shit.
I'm just including it in the podcast.
That
We didn't
trailer was
actually
nutty.
we didn't actually watch it. That's why.
We watched it yesterday.
I don't know if that was the real trailer, but anyway.
Whatever the one was on Disney Plus, we watched that shit.
Yeah,
It was
that's
actually
true.
good.
Let's see. Before we even give our thoughts on it, let's see what we said about Iron Man last time. We're gonna start with Iron Man 1, Jason.
Dude, Iron Man 1, it's really fucking good, dude.
It's a very good movie.
You got the you see like cocky ass Tony Stark, pre-Iron Man. You see him fucking get half blown up. He comes back and he kicks some ass. And it was the first one, so it was just like nothing at like yeah, there was like Spider-Man movies at that point.
We had seen
like,
movies
They're similar,
in the superhero genre that were good.
right?
The first
But this
X-Men
one
is a good one.
Was the first Marvel fucking pop off, dude.
This was the one where they were like, "We're fine, I'll do it myself."
They said, "Fine, I'll do it myself,"
which is a double meaning
and
of
so
this podcast.
I have to give it an S tier.
I think
dude.
Iron Man is clearly an S tier movie. It's what started it all. It's, in my opinion, the best origin story that they tell. So Iron Man, S rank.
S tier.
S tier. Okay, so what we said last time, obviously. Do you still agree with that, Jason?
Yeah, I still agree with it.
I still do as well. We watched it. I really enjoyed the rewatch of Iron Man. I will say there's like some things that there's some issues with the movie, and I'm not going to reveal where I rank it, but I think there's a couple things that maybe in hindsight now aren't great, but I still think it's a really good movie. I think it's probably still my favorite superhero origin story.
Yeah. The main thing that I misremembered is like how you have the whole scene at the very beginning and he gets blown up. Like it starts with him in the Humvee and then all that stuff leading up. And he like harasses the fucking driver.
Right.
But she's laughing, so I guess it's fine, right? Hopefully it was a real laugh. I mean, it's all acting, obviously, but it sounds fucking problematic.
Part of the thing is like he's supposed to be a douchebag.
Yeah.
But I think if anything, like looking back now, I don't think he definitely does some terrible shit, and it's implied he's done even more terrible shit.
Yeah.
But they don't really ramp up the douchebag level.
No.
Because it's important that he's likable.
For sure, yeah.
Right?
You don't want to make him unlikable in the very first scene of your movie. You're
Right.
Like,
and I think they did a good job of making him likable. Like which is crazy because he's just like imagine if there was a movie about Elon Musk becoming a superhero, and you're just like, yo, Elon Musk is cool. Like, there's no way, right? Now, there's some people that don't get me wrong. There's some people that like Elon Musk that are like weird culty people, but like
in the same way that Tony Stark is cool, it's not the same.
No,
it
is not.
Yeah.
It is not. Like someone.
Like, yeah, he's got billions of fucking dollars, but like,
right, but he's not nearly as
he
smart.
doesn't have the swagger.
Or as intelligent, and he's not nearly as good
He
looking.
doesn't have the swagger.
Like imagine if Elon Musk was in this movie and was just ugly as fuck. And he's like,
Oh my God.
hooking up with the reporter.
He's in Iron Man 2, dude. Give him some respect.
Okay, fair.
Anyway, I don't know why Mike went on a random I hate Elon Musk tangent.
Like he's fine, but like
that's not what this is about. Shut up. What I was saying is I forgot that how they pace the movie is like he blows up and then it's like, okay, let's go back in time like 2 days or some shit. And then you lead up to the point and then they kind of just cut straight to, okay, now you're blown up. What happened?
It's well done though, because
Yeah.
if the movie just starts with him at the craps table not accepting the award, I don't think it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it was definitely good, and I had just totally forgot that that's what happened, and I was like, oh, okay. It felt like a good mix-up, even though it's like the first one.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know what I mean?
For sure. No, they did it.
It felt like a mix-up, but it's the original.
It was definitely well done. I really enjoyed that aspect of it because it leaves you on this note of wait, so what happened after that? If
Yeah.
you've never seen it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get to know him as kind of the D-bag. He let his friend down by
Yep.
not showing up to accept the award that he was told he'd be there. You know, he hooks up with the reporter after Happy says she's cute. That's the only reason he turns around to talk to her is because Happy goes, "Oh, she's cute." And he goes, "She's cute," and then he turns around and talks to her. But what I was not surprised by, but just misremembered is like how easy like Rhodey lets him get off with the not showing up to the award.
Yeah.
Right? By the time the next scene comes, he's like, "All right, man, I'll see you later." Like they're still boys, you know.
Yeah. Well, there was one thing I said while we were watching it was like, it feels like when this version of Rhodey is mad at him, it's like a petty mad, whereas with the newer version of Rhodey, it's like he's like professionally mad at him, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, you're not
it's
a
a lot
fan of Terrence Howard in this role.
No, I don't like it as much because to me, when Don Cheadle's mad at somebody, it's more like not like disdain, but it's like I'm disappointed, right? Not like, oh man, like it seemed like very like baby wah poopy diaper in this one.
Okay.
Even though it's like he should be mad. He fucking blew him off in front of all these
Right.
people, but how he portrays him being mad at him just seems very like,
Well,
I think he does literally say to him, "I'm just your babysitter. Tell me when you need me to change your diaper." But it's
Yeah, he
like
does.
it's ironic to me because I feel like he's the poopy diaper.
well, also, it's kind of that thing that happens in media like this, not to as big a degree, but like Breaking Bad, for example. People love Walter White, even though in every scenario, Walter White is definitely in the wrong.
Mhm.
but they're looking at his wife and going, she's such a hag. She's nagging him all the time. The man is cooking and selling meth. You know what I mean? Like, but that's
I mean, at the very beginning, he's not like that. But yeah, after the first season, yeah, he's
right.
definitely
Yeah, there's
like
no
that.
like everybody and their mom hated Skylar White for no reason.
Right.
You know, and so it's kind of that with Terrence Howard here, where he gives off the like he's not fun. He's not Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. He's fun. You know, he's rolling the dice. He's it's driving the cars fast, showing up late.
Right.
And Terrence Howard's Rhodey is right. He should be angry.
Yeah.
But we're sitting here going, man, I wish he'd stop nagging Iron Man. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It just like to me, it's like when Terrence Howard's Rhodey looks at him like I'm disappointed. It doesn't look like, man, I'm disappointed because I'm obviously right. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's how I feel when it's like you can literally see Don Cheadle's like when he like stops and like kind of tilts his head. He's got his eyes wide open and he's looking at Tony like are you fucking serious, dude? Like you can see it in your head because it's a good ass fucking stare.
Right. We'll talk more about Don Cheadle when we get to Iron Man 2. But,
Definitely.
yeah, I agree that for whatever, there's a lot of different rumors out there as to why Terrence Howard didn't continue in this role. Some saying that Jon Favreau didn't appreciate his performance or his
Mhm.
work on set. Some saying it was just a money thing where he was
that was
more
the main rumor I heard.
well. From
that
what I
he wanted more
understand,
money.
he was paid better than Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man 1 because Robert Downey Jr. was such damaged goods at this point.
Yeah.
And then the next movie, that role reversed, and he was upset about it. Which it's like, in hindsight, it's like, okay, well, this is Robert Downey Jr. and you're Terrence Howard. But at the time, I'm sure was probably an
It made
insult for
sense,
Terrence Howard. Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's like, but hey, yeah, whatever. Anyway, we don't need to talk more about that. So let's I have some shitty IMDb trivia for
Okay.
this. So I pulled a couple interesting ones. They're kind of long though, but I'll read through them and we'll talk about them.
Okay.
Number 1, the script was not completely finished when filming began since the filmmakers were more focused on the story and the action. So the dialogue was mostly ad-libbed throughout the filming. Director Jon Favreau acknowledged that this made the film feel more natural. Some scenes were shot with 2 cameras to capture lines improvised on the spot. Robert Downey Jr. would ask for many takes of one scene since he wanted to try something new. Gwyneth Paltrow, on the other hand, had a difficult time trying to match Downey with a suitable line as she never knew what he would say. I Am Iron Man was ad-libbed by Robert Downey Jr. Producer Kevin Feige approved using it in the final cut of the film and credits this with his decision to largely do away with secret identities in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Only Spider-Man conceals his identity.
That's crazy.
It's crazy that it was ad-libbed. A lot of the but you can tell, you know what I mean? Like sometimes Gwyneth Paltrow looks like uncomfortable talking to Robert Downey Jr. in this movie.
She definitely does.
And I don't blame her. Like it's the kind of thing where it's like if you're just not improv-y, that you're just not improv-y. You know what I mean? Like that's
Like the chemistry definitely is a little bit weird in some of the scenes. In some of the scenes, she's really good.
well.
I like the scene where he's on the table and he's like, "I need you to pull this shit on my chest."
That's a good scene.
Like that.
That's a good scene.
She does really, really good in that scene.
Yep.
But there's definitely some like weird like just
and
dialogue.
I'm not even faulting her acting. It's just you can tell they didn't have a script during those parts,
Mhm.
and he was very good at dealing with it. There's another fact that I didn't include that talks about how Jeff Bridges really struggled with it at first, and then if he started to think of it as like a multi-million-dollar art house movie made in college, you know what I mean? And then he felt better about it.
Right.
'Cause,
Right.
Not a lot of movies do that. Mostly, and when they do, it's mostly comedies.
Yeah.
Which, that's kind of Jon Favreau. Well, it was kind of Jon Favreau's thing at the time. He came from a lot of comedies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it makes sense. So it wasn't just Gwyneth Paltrow that struggled, but that's what they identified in this fact. But I'm not surprised that a lot of it was ad-libbed.
I mean, that's how all of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies were shot. Actually, was like doing the same scene over and over with like a bunch of different versions that weren't. And the script would show up to them like that day.
Right.
So like most of it was unscripted essentially.
All right, next fact. In an interview with Britain's Empire magazine, Robert Downey Jr. thanked Burger King for helping him get straight-edged in 2003 with a car full of drugs. He had a burger that was so disgusting, it made him rethink his life and dump the drugs in the ocean. He repeats this with his impromptu sit-down session with the press upon his return from captivity. Burger King also promoted the film with toys based on this movie as well as the sequel. So this man had a Burger King burger. So this man famously known for his drug addiction and like ruining his career at that point because of his drug addiction was only saved by how disgusting a burger he had from Burger King. Let's think about this for a minute.
I don't think I've ever had any food that was like so bad that was like, yo, let me think about my life, bro. My whole fucking life.
If I never have either, but if I did, I know in my heart that it's coming from either Burger King or Sonic. You know what I mean?
If you were to have a Robert Downey Jr. origin story, it would be Sonic or Burger King.
It would be Sonic or Burger King. Like, those are the only two restaurants I think that it can stoop that low. Maybe Checkers.
I feel like KFC is that for me. I always get a migraine from all the MSG and fucking KFC.
Well, right, but that's like...
It
still tastes good.
I think I do rethink my life after I eat KFC, dude.
That's fair.
I'm
That's
like,
fair.
Fuck, my head is hurting so bad.
One of the original recipe spices is MSG, actually. All right, so last fact I have here. According to Jon Favreau, when making this film, there was a lot of pressure for it to succeed. This was particularly due to Marvel using their characters as collateral when they received a $525 million 7-year deal called a non-recourse debt facility, allowing them to make original films based on their properties. So basically they said, hey, if we don't pay back this money, you own our character.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Continuing.
What a fucking gamble.
Right. Marvel wanted to have complete creative control over their characters, build a film library, and greater profit potential than the deals they've inked with other studios owning the film rights to their characters. Marvel also changed its name to Marvel Entertainment Incorporated to establish a Hollywood presence. If the film did succeed, Marvel would have lost the intellectual property to their library. However, the wager paid off, and Iron Man's box office success enabled Marvel to kick off an entire Marvel Cinematic Universe consisting of interconnecting films and series.
Dude, Jon Favreau is the fucking GOAT, dude.
Well, I mean, he's not the one that made that decision, right?
No, but like he's been there. Like that was one of those things that I was like, wow. Like because I was so young when this movie came out that like it was something I like paid attention to. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not like who's the fucking director. You know what I mean? Like the only director I knew at this point is like motherfucking Peter Jackson, dude.
Right.
That's just because I was a huge ass
George
Lord of the
Lucas.
Rings nerd. But like, dude, holy shit! I was like, this motherfucker has been here since day one.
He has, dude.
Just pumping out fucking bangers.
It's crazy to me that they made that gamble. Well, because Marvel, you know, you're younger than I am, but in the 90s especially, Marvel, the comic company, was in financial trouble. Like, they were constantly in the news for, is Marvel going to go bankrupt? Like, that kind of shit.
Right.
And so it's crazy to see they made this gamble and it paid off. And also, you know, then getting bought by Disney afterwards to just basically make sure Marvel lives on forever, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of the money with this movie has made $585 million worldwide.
Wow. That's crazy for the first one. That's insane.
It had a budget of $140 million.
I wonder where that like ranks based on when that came out, right? Because it was like there wasn't all these other superhero movies at that time. Was Avatar out yet?
I don't think so. And then
so it probably would have been like fucking like Spider-Man or some shit that was like the biggest box office.
Probably
or
Star
Titanic
Wars
or something maybe.
Star Wars.
Oh.
The prequels made shit tons of money.
Okay.
Like, because, you know, they hadn't made a Star Wars movie since the 80s.
Right.
And then they're like, yo, Star Wars. And then after the fact, everybody was like, wow, we went and saw that, but we did not like it. And it made $98 million on its opening weekend, which is pretty high.
Like now that's like so small, but it's like inflation, and then also it's like this movie set all that other shit up.
Right. Without this movie, this podcast does not happen.
No.
Easily. And that's the most important thing this movie's given us. So, best scene, Jason.
Best scene.
So here's my nominees for best scene, and then you can tell me if you have any more.
Okay.
Number one is obviously the Fun V.
Yep.
At the beginning, where they get attacked. I really like that scene. I think it sets, you know, there's some comedy in it. It includes the only AC/DC song that's worth a damn. And then it has some, you know, like crazy, scary war stuff. And then it still has a little bit like of irony comedy where he sits down and the missile lands next to him and it has his name on it.
Yeah.
And like it's not. I don't think it's meant to be played up for laughs, but it makes me chuckle every time. 'cause
Yeah.
he's like, oh shit, you know. And then leading into the ransom video, which this movie was pretty removed from 9/11 by a few years, but that's still a pretty ballsy thing to do. I feel like to basically replicate stuff that was happening in the real news at the time. You know, and put that out there. The hostage video. So there's that scene. Obviously, the first time when he's mad and he takes the Iron Man suit to that village that's getting
Yep, that scene
ransacked.
is so dope.
I skipped one because obviously the scene where he escapes the cave.
Oh yeah, that's
and
cool.
the montage leading up where he's hammering.
Ting,
Ting, ting.
He's in the fucking cave.
Yeah. So there's that scene. There's the scene where he takes it to the village and he just annihilates these dudes. And he drops in. They shoot a bunch at him. There's a bunch of hostages, so he targets each individual thing.
Yep.
He blows up the tank.
Yep.
That shit is fucking cool, man. And he doesn't look at it when he blows it up.
Yeah.
And honestly, what's crazy is I know there's a lot of CG in that scene.
Yeah.
It still looks really good.
It holds up pretty well.
It for what was it, 2009? This movie came out.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane.
It holds up pretty well.
Because there's definitely been movies that have been made after that movie that don't hold
They
up.
look worse, yeah.
Right. The other scene I have to nominate is obviously the fight at the end.
Mm.
The fight at the end is good. It's not my favorite Marvel action scene, but considering it was their first run at it, I really enjoy it.
I honestly don't really like that scene. I think it's kind of forgettable.
Really?
And it doesn't really make a lot of sense either. Like, the arc blows upward, hits Tony so much that it blasts him onto the roof, but then it doesn't push back Obadiah Stane, and then
well, because his suit's heavier.
I guess.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little. It's like
that part in particular. I agree. I agree with that because I was thinking about that while watching it this time. That part in particular, I agree. I mean, more or less when they're on the highway, he grabs the motorcycle.
Oh, I like that scene better. Yeah,
that's the scene I'm talking about.
That scene's better. Not the actual final fight.
The fight. Well, that's all part of the final fight to me. But at the end, it does get a little weird when he's just standing over him. You ripped out my targeting, Tony. When he's just
stand still.
You really made a good robot, Tony. The way he's taunting him.
That's really how he talks too.
Yeah.
You ripped out my targeting, Tony.
I actually really
now stay still.
Stay still, you little. What does he call him?
You little rat, or
He calls
something.
him a prick. Stay still, you little prick. I actually really like Jeff Bridges in this movie.
I do.
But he fucking goes for it. It's overacting for sure. He's just at least in that part. Once he gets mad with power, he's definitely overacting. Those are my favorite scenes of the movie. And then obviously, you talked about when Pepper's pulling the thing out of his chest. I do like that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes in that.
And then I also like Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. But that's more or less the line, not the scene. And we have Ralphie there getting yelled at.
Poor Ralphie.
Do you have any other scenes that you want to nominate for best scene?
I mean, it's literally replicated in every other movie. I don't think any of those other scenes are replicated in every other Iron Man movie. But it's him in the fucking in his garage building the suit.
Yeah,
and all that
shit's
stuff.
dope.
That's my favorite scene straight up.
Yeah, that shit's dope. There's just something about because it's not just nerdy science.
Mm-mm.
It's mechanics. It's
Yeah.
monkey grease. It's fucking he's fucking hammering shit. He's bending shit. He's got his robotic
He's
science.
getting blasted into the fucking ceiling and shit.
Right. That shit's funny too. And the whole comedy with the robots pointing the fire extinguisher and
Yep.
the robot helps him when he's about to die.
Yep.
Yeah, that shit's dope.
And that's replicated in both the other Iron Man movies.
Let's talk about Jeff Bridges. Let's talk about Obadiah Stane.
Okay.
Is this a good villain or a bad villain?
I would say as in the action scenes, I don't really buy it. It's all right. I want to say it's bad. But when he's not in an action scene, I really like it.
I really like the turncoat nature. I like at first, he's, hey, buddy, Tony, we're buds.
Yeah.
I like because he sells that well.
He sells that really well at the very beginning. And then when they foreshadow it, obviously it's obvious.
They're foreshadowing it, but I think it's still an effective twist.
Yeah.
You just see it coming, right?
Yeah.
When he finally goes, "Who do you think tried to lock you out, Tony?" Walks away.
Yeah.
And no pictures, you know. And I do think it's a bit of a leap to go from "I'm locking you out of the business" to homicidal maniac in a robot suit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's not like it isn't just that because he already plotted to have him killed.
right. Well, no. And to me, that's like corporate espionage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different thing to jump in a robot suit and try to
do
murder
it yourself,
somebody.
I
Right.
guess. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he's trying to sell, and we don't really get the motivation for why he wants to sell this stuff to these terrorists. But the motivation to me is just money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you murder Tony Stark, I don't know that, like, if you personally in a robot suit murder Tony Stark very publicly, like on a highway where you're fighting this, I don't know that you continue to make your money as this corporate executive.
Oh no, dude. He just says it isn't him.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying, like,
He has an alibi, dude. He was on a yacht with bitches.
I'm just saying it seems like a big jump to suddenly just go there. Like, maybe he just feels like he's in too deep and this is his only thing to do.
Yeah.
But like, it just feels like a leap to me. I still think he's a decent villain. He's not the best villain in Marvel. He's definitely not the worst.
I think if they had one scene, like, you know how, like, after Pepper goes in with the ghost drive and she downloads all the shit, and then he realizes that she knows and he can't do anything about it because she's, like, with S.H.I.E.L.D. agents
Right.
and shit, and he's like, fuck. If they had a scene, like, from there to when they come back with the agents, like when they go to
like he does like a Green Goblin thing where he's talking to himself.
where he, like, kind of, like, decides that this is what he has to do, right?
Right.
I think that would be good. One big gripe I have with this movie, and this is kind of, I guess, we're talking about good. I'll talk about it later, I guess. I would say this is a good villain.
Okay. I'd say it's a good villain. I would
Not
say
the best, but a good one.
it's not a top tier villain. I don't think they needed a top tier villain that, like, makes you question your morality and shit in this movie, though. Anyway, you know what I mean?
I'd say, like, it's like the villain itself is like low B, high C tier.
Yeah, he's
Somewhere
a
around
middle of the road good villain.
Yeah.
All right, what scene makes you pop off the most though?
What's the most pop off scene?
Like when you're like, yo, you know.
Dude, it's got to be the I Am Iron Man scene, dude.
It's really good.
That scene of, like, yo, and then it starts just playing fucking Iron Man by Black Sabbath, dude.
Yeah, that's a big pop off.
Honestly, maybe this was in the trailer, but I remember, you know, the scene where he shoots the fucking tank, like, no looks it.
Yeah.
I always associate that scene with playing the Iron Man theme.
Oh, that's probably in the trailer. It's probably in the trailer because that song only plays, like, right during the credits.
Yeah, during the actual movie.
Right. Yeah. No. That scene that you just described is probably my biggest pop off is when he just starts killing everybody.
Yeah. I said while we were watching, I was like, Batman never kills. Iron Man immediately fucking kills.
Immediately starts bodying
Just
everybody.
Literally, he has a Mark 1 suit. It's like some fucking like steel welded together, and he just starts murdering everybody. And then he makes a better version and comes back and kills the people that he missed.
What's the worst scene in the movie?
Worst scene in the movie.
There's not a lot of bad scenes in this.
There's
movie.
not. Yeah.
It moves pretty quickly. It maybe the ghost drive scene. It's necessary, but it just.
I think that scene's all right. To me, and this is what I was gonna say earlier. The thing that makes no sense. This motherfucker Obadiah Stane is fucking instant transmissioning fucking everywhere, dude.
Yeah, that's true. He does kind of just show up places.
It don't make no sense. Like, the shit happens with. So okay, it literally doesn't make any sense. He is at the office and almost finds out that she knows, and then finds out that she knows, right?
Right.
Then he fucking instant transmissions over to Tony Stark's house, right?
Yep.
Fucking hits him with the thing, takes the fucking core. Then instant transmissions over back to Sector 16. And the amount of time it took from Pepper to go from where he just was, she's already leaving. And then she goes to Sector 16 where he has the suit. And then he's already there.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
He's already went to Tony's. He's already taken the fucking thing. And he's there, like, He put it in. He's running all the tests, and he had enough time to fucking set it up.
That's the thing too. Is like they already had that suit ready when a previous scene. His main sciencey tech guy's telling him he can't do it.
Yeah.
So he steals the arc reactor, puts it in himself. They knew exactly how big the arc reactor was that was in his chest to set it up to fit in this robot. Like it just.
I mean, he has the original, right?
Right, but that wasn't even the same arc reactor. Remember?
No, it's not.
That was one. So
I mean, it's the same size, I think.
I think
It looks way bigger in the first scene.
I think it's
in the
way
very
bigger.
first scene,
yeah.
it looks way bigger. But then, like, it fits into his chest when he uses it later anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
The size of it definitely changes.
Yeah, they definitely didn't have that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of time things that don't make sense. The end of the movie does have some rushiness to it.
Yeah.
I guess it's probably the end with the arc reactor blowing up. That's got to be the worst scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Like
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And you know, Jeff Bridges is really hamming it up. You ripped out my targeting system, Tony. You know,
Yeah.
like stand still, you little prick. You really outdid yourself. And the best part of Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark, Iron Man, is that he's funny and makes quips, and he's like silent during this part. They're just letting Jeff Bridges like, you know.
Yeah. And the only thing Tony Stark says is like, just press the button.
Press the button, Pepper. You know, but he's not interacting with his villain at all, which is strange.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say it's probably the worst scene, but like with the caveat of that's me nitpicking because I don't really have a problem with this movie.
It's definitely more of a nitpick.
Oh, you know what the worst scene is actually?
What?
When he makes the trap joke.
Oh, yeah, that scene's fucking. That whole thing is a little weird, and also like I get the point is that he's like, you know, I'm done making weapons. You know, like I wanna make stuff that
right.
will
Rhodey
actually
really
be
comes
helpful.
off as like it's like you're not gonna make weapons anymore, Tony.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Right.
It's like wait a minute.
Essentially, he's like, we really need some of your help here. Some of these guys around here are real depressed. It's like, yeah, fucking right, dude. These people don't fucking care that you're not making weapons.
That joke
dude.
in particular, where he's like, he'd like, yeah, what was that young man's name that you woke up with? You know, it's like, come on, dude. Like, that's the only thing in this movie that made me go.
That, and then like when he's joking with the fucking driver, but that one feels like a lot more lighthearted than that.
Yeah. He's like, you're a woman. Wow, you know, but he's not like.
And he's like, now I can't get my eyes off you.
Yeah.
Like I was like, it's definitely way more lighthearted. He's trying to break the ice.
Right,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're all fucking silent.
Right. Agreed. So that you know what that's my worst scene now.
That's the
when
worst
Rhodey
scene, yeah.
like is trying to be on some moral high horse by asking him to make weapons again.
Yeah.
And then like it's supposed to be this like. Terrence Howard Rhodey sucks. I'm with you now.
Yeah.
That scene has turned me. He sucks.
It's like a little
Bring
bit
in
the
Don
acting,
Cheadle.
a little bit the writing, dude. It's a little bit of both. And I feel like the scene is supposed to be like Tony finding out that like, okay, like he's got to do this on his own. Like he asked him, hey, I want you to be a part of this. Just like a little weird. It's more like just that like it's his friend.
Right.
Because he doesn't really have friends because he's a dickhead.
Right.
But like, I don't feel like it's really portrayed that well even.
No.
That's like him being like, well, man, I don't have nobody. I don't know.
All right. So best Marvel Easter egg, Jason. There's the small scene where they show Cap's shield in his area.
Yep.
Which I like. But my pick is actually when they're fighting on the highway. There's a billboard that has Fing Fang Foom on it, the dragon.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that Easter egg.
Yeah, there's the Fing Fang Foom is just like on the billboard, and I don't know why. Like Fing Fang Foom has never shown up. I don't even think they've even referenced Fing Fang Foom in anything. Actually, in Shang-Chi, when they showed the dragon in the trailer, I was like, "Yo, is that Fing Fang Foom?" But
yeah,
it's not.
I remember that. I was
It's
hyped
not.
as fuck.
But I just thought that's so funny. That's like the little Easter egg they dropped in there.
Yeah.
Fing Fang Foom. There's
Also,
not a ton.
not an Easter egg, but the Stan Lee cameo. It just
Yeah, the Stan Lee cameo is good.
it hits.
Maybe that should be a category we go over. How was the Stan Lee cameo?
Okay, yeah, that's good.
I don't think
it can't go forever. Yeah.
Well, and I don't think we'll rarely say bad, but
No, yeah.
let's just check in. Stan Lee cameo, he's hef.
Yeah, dude.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, there's not a ton of cameos in this because they hadn't started, or not cameos, but
Easter eggs.
Easter eggs. I don't know why I kept saying cameo. Oh, because Stanley. They just started, right? So there's not a ton of things if they reference something, a lot of it doesn't even turn out. Like the 10 Rings is obviously a thing.
Yeah.
Where they originally were going to make...
Because the Mandarin is a Iron Man villain.
Yeah. They were originally going to make the Mandarin the villain of this movie, but then Jon Favreau couldn't figure out a good way to do it where it wasn't like culturally insensitive, because the Mandarin in the comics is culturally insensitive.
Yeah.
So then he was like, okay, by the third movie or by the second movie, or he'll be the one pulling the strings and all this, and that's where he got on it. And then we ended up with Iron Man 3, where we had not really the Mandarin, but just the idea of him. So the 10 Rings are there. We still don't know how this version of the 10 Rings, if it's even connected to the Shang-Chi version of the 10 Rings, right?
I wouldn't think so. They'd probably say, like, no, it's like a sect of them or something.
It's like an offshoot. They stole their ideology or something.
Yeah, they stole their name.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't reference it at all, and I thought they would.
They referenced
Iron Man 3, yeah, but they don't do that. So that's a little... It'd be interesting to see if they ever really even say anything about it, because, Iron Man as a franchise at this point is done.
Right.
What happens later. But any other Easter eggs you can think of? Oh, you know what? I bet it's not a Marvel Easter egg, but Tom Morello being the first person that gets bodied in the cave.
Yeah.
Tom Morello helped work on the music in this movie. He played a lot of the guitars.
And it shows, dude.
And you can hear it, dude. You can hear
shows.
Tom Morello. And then
It's
there's the scene where, is it when he's getting waterboarded? There's a scene where, like, the camera's spinning around Tony's face and, like, and you just hear like a bunch of crazy guitar noises, and it's like, yo, Tom Morello is using his kill switch right now.
Tell me he was not in there, dude.
Yeah.
Ain't no way. Because, like, you couldn't find him being credited, right?
No, he's credited.
Oh, he is? Okay,
yeah, he's credited. He's credited as helping, wow, the composer, his name escapes me, but he's the guy that composed Game of Thrones and among other movies. He definitely, Tom Morello, that's why Tom Morello's in the movie, is because he helped with the score.
Right. You know, that's a fun little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Not an Easter egg, but something I just thought of as well. It's crazy to me how little Jarvis is in this movie.
I didn't include these facts, but I read a lot about Paul Bettany not knowing what movie he's even doing. He worked for 2 hours on this movie, and then went on vacation with his wife. So,
yeah, like he's barely in it.
And it's crazy to think
scenes where he probably should be, he's not. Where he's like testing shit out.
Well, and it's crazy because it's like, think about how big a part of the universe he is now.
Yeah,
and he
that's
started
what I
off
mean.
as just like a couple throwaway lines.
Right. I feel like he has like 5 lines.
Yeah, and he only makes fun of Tony Stark like once.
He's like, I wouldn't do it any other way, sir. Like, when he's like saying, "Oh, this suit, it's very what's the word that they say?" Basically saying that it's like a very plain suit, like doesn't fit you. Almost.
Well, so the metal they use is gold.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's a bit ostentatious, I think is what
he says. Yeah.
And he goes, yes, sir, I know how you like to keep a low profile.
Yeah.
And he said, put some hot rod red on it. He goes, ah, yes, like that will help you keep it. Well, he says something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only time he
very
roasts him.
stealthy.
Yeah. Oh yes. What's the speaking of that stuff? What's the most memeable part of this movie? The box of scraps thing gets me.
Yeah.
Probably the real answer for me is the speech he gives, where he goes, "That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it," and it's worked out pretty well so far. Because I say that a lot.
I would say the thing that I see memed the most is when he's hammering, and then people will say like shit like flat earthers when they find out their balls are round, and it's just the ting, ting.
Yeah, definitely.
That's probably the most memed scene I've seen. But it's older than memes at this point. Like internet memes. Like,
yeah, the movie is a little, I think if it had come out a little later, there'd be a lot more internet memes.
Yeah.
With it. But I can't really think of besides the boxes, things that are personally memeable to me, the box of scraps and that's how Dad did it.
Yeah. I'd say that those are the most memeable parts.
Yeah. All right. I guess. I mean, is there anything else we got to talk about? We really hadn't talked about the cave part of it a ton.
No.
With Jensen.
Yeah, that a lot of that shit was like the most like raw shit in Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Like when he finds out he has the thing in his chest. Like I remember seeing that scene as a kid and being like terrified.
Yeah.
That he had this fucking metal thing in his chest, and I was like, holy shit! Like how he's like ripping at it, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, and he's just so freaked out.
Well, he pulls that thing out of his nose too.
Yeah, that too.
That part. Some of this stuff is shot a bit like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Which is something I noticed watching it again. Like when he's coming out with the Mark I in the cave, the footsteps and and then it happens again later, and it's a scene. I almost nominated it for worst scene because I don't know, it's done so much better later. But the Ironmonger scene when he's activated and Pepper.
Yeah, that scene is actually really bad.
The chains and then he knocks out the shield agents or whatever. It's like the prototype for what they do with the Hulk and Avengers.
Yeah.
But it's done so much better there.
But also it's like even the setup for that scene is done badly. Like they go in, they're like, oh, it seems like he did have a suit, but like they're looking at the wrong fucking thing, and like they just all seem really stupid. They're like, okay, yeah, you check over there, we'll check over here.
Well, and Pepper doesn't even need to be there.
Yeah, that too doesn't make a lot of
Yeah.
sense either. Like to get in the building, maybe.
Imagine the police being like, okay, you reported this person, a psychopath. Come with us.
Right.
Like, what? No.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay home. Or put me in some kind of protection.
Right.
Don't make me go with you.
Yeah, that scene is pretty bad.
All right, who's the MVP of the movie, Jason? Got to be RDJ,
Yeah,
right?
you already know it's RDJ.
RDJ.
Dude.
That's not even-
Especially when you hear that, like, he freaking ad-libbed the fucking I am Iron Man quote, dude.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, for sure.
It's the most goated fucking line in, like, the whole fucking series.
Agreed. He's the MVP, dude. He's the MVP. I mean, to me, he's the MVP of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
You know? There are other people that contributed, but
Fucking goated, dude.
without this guy, none of this shit happens, man.
Even when he wasn't even acting anymore, it was like, he's, like, holding up motherfucking Spider-Man and shit, too, you know?
Right.
Not that I think it needed it, but, like,
Rip
was-
Iron Man, dude.
he was out here, like, literally, his influence is on movies he's not even in.
His handprint is still on the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole,
Yeah.
for sure. So, where are we putting this movie, Jason? What tier are we moving it at all? It was an S tier originally. It was, I believe, third or fourth in S tier. Yeah, fourth in S
I
tier
think fourth, yeah.
because it was behind the two Avengers, Spider-Man, and then Iron Man was fourth.
Yeah, like Endgame, Infinity War, yeah.
I think it's still an S tier movie.
Yeah. I just put it in second right now.
But
'cause
we're
I mean, we
obviously
only
that's the
have
only
two.
place it can go, right behind Spider-Man, in S tier. So we've done 2 S tier movies so far.
Yeah.
What movie are we doing
I
next?
feel like the next one we have to do is Eternals, right?
You think so?
Because it's like, we've done 2 banger-ass movies. Now we got a movie that's not so much a banger.
Okay. I mean, I still haven't seen it.
And Mike hasn't seen it. And I think that will be...
Well, Eternals, we're actually going to have a guest.
That's true. Our very first guest.
Our very first guest, Sean_AFK, will be on the Eternals because he really likes this movie.
I'm
and he-
excited to see what he says. I want him to change my mind about this movie.
It's interesting because we have someone
I'm
who
sitting at the desk with my mug of coffee, dude.
changed my
And
mind.
I got the fucking paper and it says change my mind.
Well, it's interesting because we have someone who's seen the movie and doesn't really care for it.
Yep.
We have someone who's seen the movie and really likes it, and then we have someone who hasn't seen the movie.
Right.
So it'll be an interesting.
You'll see the movie and then we'll record it.
Exactly. So that will be the next movie we do, and then I think after that, just to lay shit out, because this is February and we did Iron Man.
Yep.
March we're doing Eternals.
Mhm.
April we're doing Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Because then May we're doing Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Will be the first movie that we'll put on the list
It didn't have a spot.
that didn't have a
previously.
spot before. So
Yeah.
we'll be doing Multiverse of Madness. I don't know when we'll do Moon Knight. That's coming soon too. So
Yeah.
But Multiverse of Madness is definitely something that we're gonna have to do immediately
Yeah.
for lack of spoilers and things like that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's the schedule. I'd like to at some point do more than one a month, but I don't know that we're there yet, and I got a pretty busy March and
Right.
April coming up.
Yeah.
So I think once we do maybe in May we'll do Multiverse of Madness and then another movie or show
Maybe, yeah.
towards the end of May because we'll have more time then.
After the charity event.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so that's kind of the schedule for this. Thank you guys for being so patient and cool and enjoying it and checking it out.
We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Iron Man S movie, S tier. Thank you, Iron Man. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next time when we do Eternals.
I'm excited. That one's gonna be a banger too.
It's gonna be a good episode. What do we say to sign off? We say something. Oh,
Excelsior!
there it is.
Now fuck off!
All right, Jason. Post-credit scene. Is it good or bad?
Let me remember a second.
The post-credit scene is Tony Stark walks into his house and Samuel L. Jackson's there. The first time we see him as Nick Fury. And he says,
Is that the only post-credit scene?
it's the only post-credit scene.
Mm.
It's the post-credit scene that started them all,
Yeah.
you know? At least for these Marvel movies. So he shows up and he says, "You think you're the only person that's a superhero?
Yeah.
I am Iron Man." He's almost mocking him. And then he goes, "I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative."
Not Avengers.
He doesn't say Avengers. He says, "I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative." And that's the post-credit scene. That's it.
Crazy. That's a good one.
But I remember, okay, so I didn't see Iron Man in theaters.
Mm.
I actually watched it at some girl's house.
I think I seen it in theaters.
Because I don't know,
When
I
I
guess
was a kid.
I wasn't super into it. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, and the X-Men movies ended up being so bad, and Spider-Man 3 was so bad. I was just like, whatever, Iron Man. But I watched it on a couch, and we watched the post-credit scene. But I watched it before like the next movies that were coming out, right?
Mm.
Before Iron Man 2 and all that. And I was like, yo, the Avengers, and this is the post-credit scene that got me hooked.
Yeah.
That got me into it. Because the movie's good. Like but like you don't know what they're gonna do with it after that, you know. So I would say this is a good post-credit scene. It's very minimal, very basic.
Yeah. I didn't really get what it meant at the time because I was 10 years old when this movie came out.
Right.
Just a little crazy to think about.
It is a little nuts
I
to
was
think about.
fucking 10 years old.
Yeah, this has spanned such a long time at this point.
Yeah.
And I remember like looking at like when they announced Phase 1, and they were like, "Yo, it's Iron Man 2, and then it's Thor."
Well, wait, when did Ultimate Alliance come out?
You probably knew what the Avengers were, but I remember like being like, "Oh,
Okay. I would have definitely known who. Yeah, I think I remember being like I feel like I remember like somebody at school being like, "Yeah, bro, that's Nick Fury," and I'm like, "What?"
You were like, Nick Fury's white, bro.
I was like, "What?"
No,
because I know Nick Fury from like Ultimate Alliance.
I gotta tell you, old Nick Fury is boring.
Yeah, he is.
Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury is where it's at.
It definitely is
Yeah.
where it's at, dude. What the fuck?
Fucking gross ass cigar smoking, fucking stupid military haircut Nick Fury is terrible.
Who also just like he lies to everybody, but it's almost seems like he lies to them like just to lie to them.
Right? Yeah.
Just to
Samuel
save his own
Jackson, Nick
ass.
Fury has reasons.
Yeah, whereas for him it definitely seems like he's got a bigger plan in mind.
But no, I just remember being like, "Yo, when will these movies hurry up and come the fuck out?"
Yeah.
I remember like being, and now it's like fucking 20 years later. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Not even, but you know what I mean. And I'm just like, there's too many fucking movies.
Dude, no, not to me, dude.
And not to me either, honestly. Give me more. Anyway, so good post-credit scene. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Yo, I love Iron Man. He's so cool.
I love Iron Man. He's so cool and beautiful. He's so neat.
He's like GTA 5 based.